evening. So today we will see about advanced Python arguments. So generally when we define a function, we generally define the parameters in the function and we pass the arguments to that function. But what if in case the arguments might change dynamically, but our function is like we need the same output of the function, but we can't change the arguments dynamically, right? Because once you define the number of arguments, if you give any extra argument, it will throw an error like number of positional arguments required to, and you have given the 3 positional arguments, which is not acceptable, something like that, it will throw an error. So but we want the same functionality, but the arguments may differ. So for example, at one point it will have maybe 2 arguments, but at some point of time it may have 10 arguments, but again it will reduce back to 5 arguments. So but the output will be one and the same. So for example, we will see how like sum of all the elements in a list. So whenever we pass like 2 elements, it should return to the sum of the 2 elements. Even the same thing, when we pass 5 elements, it should return the sum of all the elements in the list. And the similar kind of stuff, when we pass maybe 100 elements in a list, it should return all the 100 elements sum output. But we can, if we define statistically, like that position arguments, like it will take only 3 arguments like A, B, C. Then at that time, this type of dynamic functionality won't work. So for to in Python to beat this challenge, they have introduced 2 types of advanced arguments, like one is like star.args, like unlimited positional arguments, we can say. It's like we need to give star before that. And when we are defining, the second one is like unlimited keyword arguments. KW represent keyword args, keyword arguments, and we need to give 2 stars before that. So these are the special syntax. So it can be variable number of arguments we can pass to a function. So it's like it will be more adaptable, and the different scenarios, as I said, if the input is dynamically changing, so you are receiving some data from a different source and it will dynamically change, but the output we want is like the sum of all the elements. So similar kind of stuff, that time these are very useful. And the keyword arguments, again, it again depends on different kind of scenarios. So we will be seeing that. So for example, for loggings, or when we are printing something and we don't know how many I meant to say variables are defined. So the best example is the format method. When we used, for example, I just go to here. Okay. Yeah, so formatting. So here generally this is the formatting what we have already seen, like print hello name, your age, format. So generally what we used to give is like we used to give name comma age. But instead of that, whether there are multiple maybe they have defined nearly 30 to 40 I want to say variable pairs. Then instead of writing everything, we just need to call this local function and give this uh, keyword argument. Star is like unlimited. So it is, we will saying these are the arguments which you need to replace with all the variables which are in the print function. This is an example. So let's see how exactly they will be doing. And we can use the both things, like the unlimited arguments and unlimited keyword arguments in the same function also. But when you are defining that, this the position argument should come first and then the keyword argument should come next. So these are generally these are the notations. So it is not limited. You need to use only these args and kw args are the conventions, but you can use any valid variable names. So we can use anything. These are just for reference purpose or it's a convention. So generally we will be using these types, but it is not limited. You should use this keywords only. It's not a defined keyword. It's just a convention. So, and these are again used in decorators. Decorators, what are decorators? We will see later. So now, for example, this is the args. So now this is a positional arguments. So when we define a function name, and we generally we will give star args. So it's like a the arguments whatever we give will return in a tuple. So tuple is nothing but the set of list which is immutable. So let's start with this example. I have already this example. So here if you see, so we are defining one sum. So here we are giving unlimited positional arguments. So uh, it takes any number of arguments. So now we are just defining for total equal to 0. So for number in arguments, so it's like this is a tuple. So that's why we are iterating, and we are actually incrementing 0 total with the all the numbers inside the list. So when we, for example, when we print args, so we will see later this. So when I run this, so I am printing the argument what we are passing. So here result in the result variable we are passing 1, 2, 3, 4 as arguments. So these arguments are stored in a args variable. So general the notation is this. So just I am printing this, and then it is doing the sum of all the elements like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 15. So similarly it's generally it's the thing. So now if for example just ARS ARS, so even this will work, there won't be any change. Oh, sorry, need to change this also, right? So ARS, so it's just a notation, but it is recommended to use the convention so that it will be across all the coding like PEP styles. It will be similar. Even if we check for type also, so it will give us, it's a tuple. So it is storing a tuple. So this is one of the examples. So I can increase to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So again this number of arguments got increased. So I have given 1 to 20. So when I call it again, so it's like 210. So this is how the positional arguments, like we call it as star args or unlimited positional arguments works. So if you go to next thing like unlimited keyword arguments. Sorry. So now the similar kind of stuff, but here what exactly it will store? It will store this keywords in a form of dictionary. So for example, if you take this again, so, so now we are defining a one function and we are defining to take unlimited keyword arguments. And now what we are doing, we are just calling this function and we are giving name equal to alias, age equal to city, age equal to 30, city equal to New York. Similarly, so what we are doing for key value in the keyword arguments, because we now the keyword arguments are dictionaries. So if I print type of keyword arguments, so now because we know it will be dictionary, so we are iterating our dictionary. So for key value pairs from the kwargs dictionary, because we need to call this items, otherwise it will loop for only on keys. So we are just printing out key and value. So we don't need to print, because when we are calling the print info function, the inside that there is a print variable, so by default it will print that, so we are not printing the function. Now here if you see, so the class is dictionary, the kwargs class, like the data type you can say, name alias, age 30 and city is New York. So similarly if I add something like work equal to some app. So this also there won't be any limitations, so we can use this arbitrary uh, keyword arguments many times, so there is no limit for this. So when I check, so we have given no four keyword arguments. So the keyword arguments is one of the important topic, because the maximum many of the times the keyword like keyword arguments like unlimited keyword arguments or arbitrary KW args is used in multiple ways rather than the positional unlimited positional arguments. So we will see one of them is the tkinter module. So generally why this KW args is used in tkinter module is like, because the tkinter module is a wrapper around the TK framework. TK framework is not exactly written in a Python thing. It is actually a different framework, but we to access that framework, the tkinter module is written in Python, and to do that, to access every I want to say, it's act as a constructor, like to access the functionality of the tkinter module. This will be the KW args. will be act as constructor to access those functionalities under the TK framework. TK framework is entirely different and it is written by a different person. So it is not exactly the Python framework again. So to access all that, we are actually using the keyword arguments. So this is the best way possible how to use a wrapper around them. So this is one of the main use. So in going classes, we will be concentrating on uh, Python GUI desktop GUI development. So then we will be using this very frequently. So for example, this is so now let me go here. So because just to show, so here we are importing tkinter as tk, and then we are actually creating a root tk.tk, and now we are creating a button. So button inside the root, and then we are saying the text and the background, foreground and font. So if we go to the, these are actually explicitly not defined in the tkinter button class. So generally when we define a class, we define the instance variables, right? When we define a constructor, these are actually not defined in the constructor class. So how we can check that? So this is the main use of editors. So when I just hold control and click on the button, it will take me to the main class. So where the button code, if the tkinter is written in Python, the module which is written in Python, it will automatically open. But if the module is written in C or any other language, this won't work. So because tkinter is written in Python, but the under the framework is not written in Python, so here we can actually see the class. So here when they are defining the constructor method, so they have used only star star keyword arguments, like unlimited position, keyword argument uh, syntax. So here they said these are the standard options like border width, cursor, highlight, background color. All these are defined. Just this is the, I mean to say, whatever we get when there is a documentation. So it's like a documentation. So when, because we know whenever a object is created using this class, so it will first, this button is the object which is calling the button class. So the at first it will call the constructor method. So here the constructor method, in the constructor method there is no I meant to say no instance variable is defined. So generally we define, right, self dot some variables. For example, we have seen in Turtle graphics multiple things, like if I go back, for example, so here we define self dot all car, self dot car speed. But instead they're defining this, they're actually doing different calls, and then they will actually do the, I mean to say, the internal, it will hit the internal framework. So for example, BG background color is the main. So this will actually, what it will do, it will create a dictionary. The text, what is the text? All these are dictionaries. So and it will actually go to the framework, and then it will call the background color to blue like that. So when I run this, so it will open. So we haven't defined any size. So when I open, so it's like, let me just, yeah. So here if you see maximum of the time the coordinates, for example, they have used self, so the positional arguments, unlimited positional arguments. So this is actually the main tkinter code. So it's like a source code you can say of that module. So, so if uh, more the research required, so we can do like this. So what exactly the source code is written, how it is written. Yeah. So writable exceptions. So it's good to once in a time if you want exactly how the code works, just for understanding you can go through the source code. So this is why we are using unlimited keyword arguments. So it's not limited to tkinter, actually we will be using it multiple ways. So when we are creating a log also in Python, we will be using the same kind of stuff. So it's like here we are giving when we calling debug method, so when we are passing keyword argument, so already the debug method will be defined with like unlimited keyword args, so advanced arguments we can say. So similarly when we are actually conferring a log also, we need to give the format, what is the level, what is my file name, all these are keyword arguments. So similarly this we have seen. So again if I just want to run this, so until unless I close this, this won't run. Just I'm closing this. So here, hello ls, you have that here sure. And if you want set equal to, so it's like we haven't changed. We are not giving any uh, like name, comma, age, comma, city. So generally we will be giving like that. But instead of that, if we call this, then it will automatically. So it's like this is the method. So if you see in editor what exactly this local methods is doing, it is returning a dictionary of the current scope's local variables. So these all are local variables of the current scope. So we have already defined what exactly the global scope and what exactly the local scope. So if we are defining inside a function also, this will work. But if this one of the element which is defined outside the function, then it won't work. because it's a dictionary, so how it runs, so the we are just calling the keyword arguments star star, and we are giving the dictionaries. So yeah, and there are multiple. So if you want, when we are hosting some want to connect to another host via some paramiko module, like for example, you need to what is the host name, what is the port you need to connect. So you can directly give the config, for example, something like this, like when we need to pass the dictionary for the app what we are creating. So similarly, when the web frameworks in the Flask, so when we want to define like parameters like data of the username, what exactly the data, maybe username having multiple age, where they live, or something like that, user database what we are building. Then this is like how to access the query parameters through kwargs. So yeah, so it's not only limited to that, it will be having multiple use cases, but these are some of them. So we will be mainly using tkinter for Python geo development, and we will be using going forward web development, and then few more like data science concepts. So this is one of the things we need to know perfectly. Yeah, I think that's it from my side for